Right, is that recording? Right, it's right. I finished recording now. Is it? Can you still see the screen?
Yeah.
Right. Oxford United 2, MK Dons 2. We kick off with a point. It was a point probably most of us would have taken. Sadly, we were made to rue missed chances as we conceded the last gasp equaliser. Let's jump into a review now. I've got Josh. I've got Josh back. How do I say his surname? Is it Pasantino?
Pasantino.
Pasantino. All right. That's what I initially thought it was. I've got him back. Let's jump into it. So, without any further ado, Josh, actually, let's do a quick introduction. How have we been put into Dons for?
Oh God! I mean, I remember them moving. Like, I'm an NK native, really. Like, parents lived around the villages, so yeah, I can remember the move. And I was at the Shrewsbury game, and the last game in the hockey stadium, and then first game, which was also Shrewsbury at the NK, I remember. So yeah, a while, and then moved away for the area for uni, and then moved away a little bit for a while. So I kind of like stopped just going to the games. Obviously, always followed them, and then came back and I started going to the games again just randomly, and it's just been that love affair ever since. But yeah, I've always kind of had an eye out for the games, and yeah, I think pretty much from the first game I can remember, really.
Nice, I like that. Yeah, it's been certainly a journey. I put here. I'm going to get into it now. So I said Dons are made to settle for a point. I don't know about you, right? Did we not look such a better team than Oxford in the first half? Yet we fell behind.
I thought it was a really strange first 10 minutes of the game where it stank of a League Two hoofball game, where neither team could really get it we couldn't get it under control. Oxford, I thought, was more dominant, but without offering next to nothing. And then it was like, come on, get the ball on the ground and start playing if we got these players. And I thought it kind of took Oxford scoring to get us to wake up and switch on. And then once we did, we were on them. Like, yeah, I was impressed with how he played, and actually how it was 10 minutes between their goal and our goal.
Yeah, 9 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And then we scored 4 or 5 minutes later. So yeah, I didn't want the half to stop because you knew it might have killed the momentum, but it was an interesting first half.
Yeah, I did. I mean, look, I like the way we played. I thought we were the better side, but they scored first, and then it was like, right, come on, we got to do this. We got to score, and that was good to see. I think you know, if I go back into it, I mean, it was nice to see that the lead didn't last long because I didn't think they deserved it. And Aaron Collins, you know, I'm so pleased for him. I'm pleased for Charlie Good. He forced an own goal. It's good signing.
Yeah.
Without trying to be funny. But you know, if I look at Aaron Collins, he only scored 6 goals in League Two, and he scored 1 already. So I'm hoping he takes confidence from today because I said again, he's probably scored a header.
You powered that in. I was like, I thought that'd be Nombe at the back, and then suddenly it was Collins. But
yeah, he was up for it today.
Yeah, he was. I think League One will suit him more because it'll be, you know, it should be more ball on the ground, and if we play him out wide, I'd like him up top with I was surprised to see him in the starting 11, to be honest. But it kind of like, but then as I thought about it, I thought maybe that kind of makes sense because if you then have Pato and Nombe, which I think I would be in heaven about looking at that because, you know, those two would be absolute wrecking balls. If you lose one of them, then you've lost one number 9 out of the 2, and we've only got 2.
Yeah.
So I think he's probably going to go big man and then either a Collins or a Mendes to play off them. That's my thinking anyway, if you're going to play a 3-5-2.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I was really surprised. I'll talk about this later on, but I might just get into it now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how is it that Nathaniel Mendes-Lang and Callum Patterson stay on the bench? Like, that's something unheard of. I don't think we saw that last season. For me, they were our key players. They are top goal scorers.
Yeah.
You know, they for me, without being disrespectful to Aaron Collins, I would have said are better. But Aaron Collins coming in behind. But to be fair, Paul knows what he's doing. He's got out of this league 4 times. I don't really want to question the manager, but I'm just really surprised. I didn't see it coming.
No, I think I could see Pato probably being on the bench because I think he played Nombe up top against the Norwich game. He's probably played in there the whole time during pre-season or since he joined. And I think he probably offers a bit more speed, where Pato, I think, I love him dearly. I think he's probably that touch slower, but still is an absolute wrecking machine. So,
Yeah.
but equally, I think I was listening to the not the top 20 podcast, but obviously George is an Oxford fan, and they were saying about the bench depth being mostly youth. So you're thinking, all right, if you're going to have to play them to come on in like the 60th minute plus, and we're bringing on potentially Patterson and Mendes-Lang, they're going to overrun them. So I think maybe that was the thinking as well. Like, you've got two bruisers coming on fresh to potentially put the game away, which could have happened.
If Nathaniel Mendes-Lang and Ryan Wintle could have scored a goal together.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I've talked about this later on, but I'll just say it now. I mean, you think to yourself, shoot, you score. And they equalise straight afterwards. But at the same time, Nathaniel Mendes-Lang passed for a reason. He didn't feel too confident. I mean, Ryan Wintle, he shoots maybe, I don't know. It's just... Yeah, it's just...
happened before,
it's gutting, yeah.
I think he's done it. He's been a couple of one-on-ones where, like, I remember Notts County away last season, he buries it away. Bromley obviously buries it at home. But then there was I was forgotten the game where, like, he was one-on-one and he just takes it right against the keeper. And so there is, like, I guess it's, it's always 50-50, I guess. But,
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Maybe he thought you could have, like, taken it around the goalkeeper or something like that. But, I mean, I guess it is what it is now. Just the most galling thing is on the Sky app for the game. The big chances missed, and it's 1-0 for us, and you just know what that chance is. But I mean, there's
it's 2-1 to us, yeah. Yeah, I think that's the key point though. It's not just Daniel Mendes-Lang. Aaron Collins, I think, could have had a hat trick today.
Yeah,
and to be honest, Jamie Cumming, we all know too well, I think was one of their best players for Oxford United. I think he played really well. It would be disappointing to concede 2 goals, but he could have conceded a lot more.
He also had a lot of good ball carriers, and kind of Adonkor looked good, and their back line looked fairly decent. So I'm not. I think coming off this, it's one of those like, would you take a draw at the beginning of the game? Yes, I would. Would you take? But then if you then the caveat at that game, would you take a draw if you had a 95th minute equaliser and conceded? I would have no chance. But in the cold light of day, we drew last season as well, and one game, especially at the beginning of the season, does not make you do not get promoted and you do not get relegated on the back of this result.
Exactly. I think, to be honest, it's an interesting point. I was talking to Harry yesterday, and he was saying, would you take a 0-0? And to be honest, if we're going to learn from it, then yes, I would, because we did that against Oldham Athletic, and we needed, in my honest opinion, to get it out of us, to get that doubt out of us, to get through that game, just to have a game where we did that, and then go and smash it. And that's exactly what we did. So if we do that again, I'm glad. Then it's okay. But then I think also another thing. I know you're trying to say something. If you look at, would you have taken it, but with a 95th minute equaliser conceded? The answer is, what are the alternatives? Sort of. And then it's like, okay, how else would we do if we wouldn't settle for that? Would we lose? Could we win? What else would happen? So it's just a lottery, really. Overall, there's more positives than negatives, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely.
It's not a bad point. I mean, I couldn't watch the FA Cup game. I don't know if you did. I can't comment on the performance, but I also thought, given that we did that, this game could be there for the taking. That we wouldn't lose.
Yeah. I think as well, you've got to think what we've got. It's not like we put the squad out from last season and sprinkled in like 1 or 2 players extra. You had basically a whole new midfield of Barlasser and Wintle. Kyan Brown on the left.
Charlie Goods.
Yeah, we had like a lot of new players in that system.
And also,
So you kind of thinking, right, they've got to take some time to gel. And it clearly, I think at some point did. I think we reverted a bit to type in the second half where we just went back to the wall, siege mentality, but for some reason kept on hoofing it, giving it back to Oxford to allow them to come on to us. Where I think if you just calmed it down a little bit, we could have probably seen it out. And I think as well, both goals, unfortunately having to watch it back just to kind of like, do a bit of prep, I guess.
I'm sorry.
They were like, what's the word? I think we gave them the goals more than they earned it, if that makes sense. First goal comes off Ben Wiles and it goes in between Charlie Good and Curtis Nelson, both watching it a little bit, and Harris just bangs it in. All right, fair enough. And their second goal, hoofball over the top, lands in between Jones and Ekpiteta, don't deal with it, and then it's just the standard go around the side, ball across. Don't know how it goes in between Nelson and Sanders. No one's there, and it's just a free hit. So it's stuff that can be sorted. I hope. I think for some reason, considering the level of defenders that we have, we seem to concede a lot of goals at times. But Oxford were in the Championship last year. They haven't lost any players. They know,
Actually, they have. Sorry to interrupt. They lost Will Lancashire to Middlesbrough. He scored both their goals today, and he was a key player for them last season.
He was,
and they're in the transfer embargo.
Yeah. I think what I meant by that, I mean, so obviously you lose the loan players like Lancashire. How can I forget? But I think on the whole, they all played together, and then obviously you've got Mills leaving in January. And then they didn't have the Kismacher, which I was really happy to not see playing, thinking, God, he's probably going to be one of the best players in League One this year. If they keep him. I think the only factor was probably, Aaron Ramsey being a completely unheard of coach. But at the end of the day, that was, last season there was 2 divisions basically between us.
Yeah. I think so, yeah. I mean, look, it's interesting because they're only 4 points off safety in the end, with West Brom having a points deduction. At one point, like I say, it was in their hands. Matt Bloomfield looked to have turned it around, and then West Brom came back, and Oxford couldn't really keep up. But it's interesting points. I mean, I think Craig. I mean, I've read up the document. I mean, I'm probably not going through this in order now. I mean, I'd like to say with Aaron Collins, he's got it in him because we saw when Callum Patterson got injured, he did step up, so I'm hoping he can do it. I swear he was it League One Player of the Year in 2023. So we got that in us. But yeah, I think I do want to talk about disappointment now because you talk about their goals. He'll be disappointed, I think, with his misses, Aaron Collins. He could have scored more. But I reckon, right? I don't know about you. Do you think? And I think Craig McGillivray is one of our best players, one of our top 4 best players, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But do you not think he could have saved Oxford's opener? Do you not think he dived the wrong way, or was it too much to judge? Was it too hard to judge?
It's hard to judge when you're 8 yards out, and he took it really well. I mean, like the angle behind, the angle of facing the goal, he comes in and he just almost whips it round, and I think he sold him the eyes. I think he looked one way, Craig goes that way, and he bangs it in. It was a striker's finish at the end of the day, and you just got to say fair play because that ball came quick to him. It's not like that was not a build-up play. That was a defensive mistake that suddenly a player with that kind of level latched onto. And Paul Warren said it in his pre-match, preview that in this level you're going to get a player who actually might take a chance quicker than you get in League Two. In League Two they could have missed it or it could have been saved. That is the level in the Championship and above where you get half a chance and a player will take it. So it's hard to say he should have saved it because anyone can say, we can just sit down and say that. But
if he does the other way,
I've got the feeling he sold in the eyes, and it was just a good striker's finish.
It's difficult. I mean, look, like I said, Craig was phenomenal last season. So, he wouldn't be here without him. No. He's how would it take this long for us to realize the potential? I don't know. But I think the thing is, just when you watch it on TV, I'm thinking he's off the wrong way. But my dad was quite quick to defend him. And to be honest, I won't berate Craig of all players. He doesn't really deserve it. But I do think some players will be disappointed, though. Like we talked about Nathaniel Mendes-Lang, Ryan Wintle. I mean, I think both of them will be disappointed if we didn't make it 3-1 before Oxford equalised straight after. You think if Nathaniel Mendes-Lang shoots, he scores. If Ryan Wintle maybe receives the pass better, could be 3-1.
Yeah, it was a dodgy pass. It was a very dodgy pass.
And also, I mean, I think that's the thing, isn't it? But also, Marvin Ekpiteta, Gethin Jones, they'll be disappointed with the equaliser.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because I think both players played well. I think Marvin Ekpiteta, he always gives it his all. But also, he didn't want to get sent off today. And we were saying...
Marv was a giant.
I know, but he'll be disappointed. With the goal, he'll be disappointed. And I think, I was thinking maybe just get somebody else on.
He looks a bit gassed, didn't he? But I think...
Yeah, he was worried about getting sent off, I think.
Yeah, I think
say that again?
Line will be upset with that second goal because it drops in between both Gethin Jones and Marv. Then the ball gets splayed out to the right, doesn't it, towards the goal line, and then it goes in between Sanders and Nelson to attack him effectively. And then so it's kind of a whole defensive switch off, I think. But let's be honest, 94th minute
Not
in a hot game,
minutes, I think it
you're
was.
probably gassed out. You could tell they were heaving a little bit. So
they'd given everything they got as well. I mean, sorry to interrupt, but they were making sure not to concede, and then they did. But go on, they've been gassed out hot game.
Yeah, I think I wish it could have gone down to 94 minutes instead of 96, but I'm trying not to. If we did this straight afterwards, I think I'd be furious. But I think having the time to calm down and actually just look at it in the cold light of day again, I'm not too upset by it. I think it's just the fact of it always just being 90th minute equaliser just hurts a bit more. But
yeah, it does, because the win's kind of in the palm of your hands, isn't it?
I thought, actually, looking at what you put there, I know Gethin Jones gets a lot of slack,
Criticism.
Thank you, criticism. I thought his ball delivery today was actually quite good. I mean, putting some decent looking crosses in, and
he did.
I thought, hang about, where's this? Hello, this is welcome, and so I don't know. I don't think he was. And let's be honest, he played an entire 90. Both our right and left back played 90 minutes on a wing back position, which is tough because we are lacking some depth there. I mean, obviously, Silvera's injured and Kane Wilson. Where are Kane Wilson? But I can't say he was. I thought he was too bad, and because that's a tough thing to play for full 90.
I think it's right. I put it in the review notes. I'm absolutely going to say this right now. Gethin Jones played the best game I saw him play for Milton Keynes today, up to their equaliser. Up to that last couple of minutes, he was at his best today. It was like, this is. I kept saying to my dad, he's playing better in this League One game than they did in the whole of last season. And our crosses were a lot better, because in last season, crosses weren't the best, were they?
No, considering how much Paul
He just made it through it,
Yeah, I think, I'm struggling to really think of too much wrong apart from the goal. But, based on it, I can't be. I didn't think at any point get him off. But
exactly, until the end.
Yeah, but that's not me though saying, do we need an upgrade? And I think, and I think it's obvious because they're trying for one anyway. And obviously, at some point Wilson should be back. God knows when. And if he's as good as Paul Warne, likes to say he is, then great, we've got an upgrade there. But I think we do need coverage on that right and left side.
I mean, I like our attacking squad depth, but it's all just the attackers. When saying that, we got a few good defenders. I mean, Jack Sanders was on the bench. I mean, there are players who. I mean, look, we had 3 players in the team last season. Not one of them started today. Callum Patterson, Jack Sanders, and obviously Liam Kelly's left.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And that says a lot about Paul Warne and how confident he is in his squad. And as a manager, he's been there and done it 4 times.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing, doesn't he? In that sense.
I mean, I think our biggest our biggest strength is probably, I say defensively, we just conceded 2, but like the level of defender that we've got, tall, monstrous, sized, and we're going to be, picking balls out of the air for fun. And then the middle of the park is where I see our biggest strength, because obviously the depth that we've got, and that's excluding with Gilby and being injured. That you thinking, right, okay, Wintle, Barlasser, for me, nailed on. Like every game, start them. I'm moved by them both. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
And then do you then go Matete for a bit more disruption, which I like, or do you go for Gilby for that kind of like intangible leadership, which I think he just brings in spades, and we covered that up, I remember, in the third year chat. I think obviously probably Gilby going forward, and I'm not worried by that, but I think that's a good strength. So I think out wide is probably where we are just needing a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree. I think Alex Gilbert, obviously I've nominated him for Player of the Year. It was
Mm.
quite rightly so, in my opinion. He does. My dad always says to me, he does the work of two players. He is the right captain.
Yeah.
And I like his work. I like what he does. I like his commandsmanship as well. You know, I was going to say something about Jamie Matete, and I've got what I was going to say now. Maybe it was just Alex Gilby. That I was saying there.
I thought
We
Jamie.
should
I thought he
have,
was
but
really
yeah,
good coming on, and
yeah.
I
He's not a bad player.
no, he's not at all. And I think obviously, well, I mean, what you have 2 games last season, and then you do your it wasn't your hamstring. Was it your hamstring? Yeah, that you just that knocks you out for a long time before you come back. So I guess that's got to take some time. And he looked good. I think he's looked good in pre-season. He looked good in Norwich. So I think if he starts to get a run in, he'll certainly kind of become that player that I think we're hoping for. I think we're just crying out for that kind of like guy you can just not run about, but put a tackle in, get the ball and pass it to the players who, the playmakers like your Winter, your Barlas, to then start
Yeah.
squaring about.
And to be honest, I like that. With our but Curtis Nelson, he could have the ball forwards.
Mm.
I like Ben. I like Ben Wiles as well. I think he's that type of player. I remember what I was going to say as well. Brian Wintle against Norwich City, he was our best player. I
Yeah, by
think.
Mark. Yeah. Yeah, I
I
think
think
today
he was.
was
I think he was pretty good. Yeah. It was Cardiff Player of the Season, and we've got him. He
Yeah.
dropped down a division to play for us,
Yeah.
then to play for the team. He continued playing for the team, who scored more goals than all but one team in the whole of '92 last season. That speaks volumes, and we can see
Yeah.
it already. Because
Yeah.
I've got a mate who's a Cardiff fan, and he was saying it's class down for League One,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we
I
can
mean,
see
well,
it.
the press and then the delightful little chip across for the second goal was just like, oh, hello. And that,
He's an upgrade for me.
yeah, and I think as much as I think actually I wouldn't have wanted to get rid of Liam Kelly. Like you do see there is a kind of similarity, but I think he might just be that touch better, probably a lot better. But I think it was I think it was a lot of fans kind of wanted Kelly to stay, considering he's player of the season, and I
And
think
for good reason.
oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I think Wintle probably is that upgrade because he's been proven at this level, and I think that's what we're going for now is players proven at the level or slightly lower above, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but I think our middle of the park is so packed. And the other day I just thought, let's just get Football Manager on the iPad and kind of like play around and see and move all the players and see what we would do. And at one point, you're not playing like Wiles or Collar, for example. It's just impossible. There's too much depth. So you have to kind of go right, doing kind of who do you sort of sacrifice to kind of make room for players who played for Borough and Cardiff.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really good question because I look at our squad last season and I really like it. I look at our defense. I don't really want to change it. Look at midfield. Think, do you really want to get rid of these players? No, you don't. But then at the same time, to improve, you upgrade, and then some of those players end up leaving. I mean, if you think about it, we've replaced, and I don't really feel good saying this, but we replaced the player of the season for the team that finished second in League Two with the player of the season who finished for the team who finished second in League One.
Yeah.
And both teams were the top scorers in that division as well. So that's an interest really that's an important observation to make.
Yeah.
Nothing against Liam Kelly because when I finished work and Harry saying Liam Kelly's left, I didn't want to believe it.
No, I didn't, and I still think it was probably wrong. I think having Liam Kelly on the bench, where God on the bench sounds so odd, but to have that option as well, or when he gets a running games, you've still got that metronome, that the speed that he possesses. But some of the other players that have left, who are fan favourites, Tomlinson being the prime example, they didn't go to League One teams. They stayed in League Two. I loved Aaron and Main. I thought actually, probably we should have kept him. But then looking at it, going, actually, if he's gone to Rotherham, is there a reason? Like, no League One teams pick him up. So I think, we fall in love with the team. We fall in love with the players that get us here. But you kind of got to know that will they get to the next level? Because there is that gulf now between league. I think that the biggest gulf now between each leagues than I think there ever has been. The gulf between
Well,
League One
some
and
of
League Two
them.
is frightening. You know, you're
Is
looking
it?
at
Yeah.
well, you look at like some of the big fish in League Two, for example. You put them in League One, they ain't the big fish there. You know, you're looking at
I know.
Leicester, Sheffield Wednesday, historical clubs. 10 years ago,
Yeah.
who won the league, for example, and
Yeah.
then you got
And also, sorry to interrupt. Also, in that same season, Sheffield Wednesday in the League One in the Championship player final as well.
yeah. So I think every year, I think we're probably going to get used to it a bit where you fall in love with a player and they will probably get jettisoned because of the nature of what I think the ownership wants to do, and it's your Wrexham, isn't it? It's the back to back. They're not doing any shame in saying that. Will we do it? I don't know, and I think a lot of people kind of get us from like mid-table to second, which is I have no idea. I still don't know where we'll finish. But
yeah, I don't know what was the best season for us. Yeah.
No, I think top half is obviously I'll take it. Will I want playoffs? Yeah, but obviously with experience in playoffs, it's heartbreaking. But based on the Oxford game in just an isolation, I think good start. We took it to them in the first half. I think we sat back annoyingly in the second half and just let them come on to us a bit too much. But that's something that hopefully we can build on. And I think if we can kind of get points in the next two games, Leicester don't scare me just yet. Let's be honest.
After today.
No, Russell Martin takes a while to get his point across, and the fans aren't probably on side. Huddersfield could take some points, but first home game this season, so it's all to play for.
Yeah, it's just all about how Paul Warne's gonna play it over. Really, I mean, you make an interesting point, but then also a couple of counter points. I mean, actually, first of all, talk about some of the other players as well, because there was also Conor Lemon Evans. I remember a couple of years ago thinking them and Aaron, I mean, are the two signers that have done well, and they're both left the club. I mean, it didn't really work out with game time, but I always loved Aaron Lemons' assists. I mean, Joe Tomlinson was a standout under Mike Williamson.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Paul Warne came in and dropped him. But then I think also you talk about their gap being quite big. Not one of the promoted sides lost today. Cambridge and Bromley won, North County and us drew. So that's I know it's going to be a bit of a counterpoint. I'm not trying to be devil's advocate, but that's also a statistic we got to think about, because there I am making my prediction, putting North County in bottom, putting Bromley to justify, putting Cambridge United, to finish I think 22nd. You know what I mean? And then it's like actually they go and win. But I think the strongest. I mean, we had one season where Ipswich finished 11th with 70 points, and I think it's going to be similar to that. And I just can't see us being as good as those other teams. But then maybe it could happen. Who knows?
I think as well though, at the end of the day, football fans, we're a fickle bunch, and we've had 100 days of being starved of our teams. Watching our team, and then suddenly you go through the summer of like all the talk and the signings, and then it's like the first game, and then it's like either it's the end of the world, we're not going up, we're a joke, Tim Pot. It's all the words, isn't it? It's only one at the end of the day, and I think it's just the manner of the equaliser that makes people's like opinions slightly sharper. But I think would I have taken a draw at the beginning of the game? Yes. Would I have taken it 90? Would I have taken it in the 88th minute? Absolutely not. But it happens, and you move on. There's going to be plenty more games where we can take some teams apart. I think some teams are going to struggle in this league. I think some teams are going to surprise. Hopefully, we're one of them.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, to be honest, I'll go into the rest of the review. I mean, it wasn't a bad performance at all, and we had more shots than Oxford United. We had 24 shots, and as we said, they looked like they could survive in the Championship. It's real positive, and I think a neutral would have guessed that we were the team who got relegated and they were the team who got promoted. And like we say, Jamie Cumming, he made sure we didn't win that today, and I think this is why. I think this is a really important point to make. This is why we have such mixed feelings about the result, because I always thought we'd draw today, but naturally we hope for a win, and we just need to be able to see out these games for the whole. I should put 90 minutes. I'm going to change that to 90 plus minutes because it's out of time as well. If we're going to have a positive season, that's what we need to do. I mean, I know we laugh, but in reality, that's quite convincing to me. And in order to do that, do we need to give more game time to the likes of Nathaniel Mendes-Land, Callum Patterson, even Russian Hepburn Murphy, because I was so surprised that Nathaniel Mendes-Land, Callum Patterson didn't start today, considering how key they've been for us. We wouldn't be here today discussing this game if it wasn't for those people. But you know what? Onwards and upwards. That makes this a good point to kick on further. That was his last season. I put that
there's
in
going to be
there. But
games.
yeah,
There's going to be
let's
games
talk about those
where
players.
Pato will be will be up top, and there'll be games where Mendes starts, and there'll be games where they don't. I think it's just you've got 40 plus games. And you look at like age as well, but you can be like injury history. There's going to be times, and there's going to be like patterns of injuries, of fixture pile up. So I'm not too surprised they weren't starting. I did think during pre-season that Nombe was probably going to be the number one striker. Now, would I love to see Nombe and Pato up top together? Oh my God, yes, because that would be unbelievable. But that kind of maybe negates it if one gets injured. You've only then got one true number 9. So I think you're not going to see them together because in case one does go down for a while, it could limit us. Obviously, if we bring in this maverick attacker that Bullwall wants, who knows who that could be. But, I don't think we'll see them both as much as we want just because of the striker depth.
Yeah.
And then, say, for example, like Rush, if you're playing a 3-5-2, he's more of a natural winger. That won't suit him, so you'll probably play him in that. I'm not sure how long Rush actually lasts in the squad, if I'm honest. I don't know. I don't think he's top level League One. He's extremely quick. I think on his day he can be really good. And I get moments last season he was very flashy, but I could see him potentially being jettisoned at the end of the season. I don't know. That's just a thought I've got on him, but I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I mean, our striker depth is very deep. I think we saw that today. I don't want to sign another striker because I mean, if you think about it, we've got Nathaniel Mendes-Land, Connor Patterson, Sam Nombe, Aaron Collins, and Russian Hepburn Murphy. And Russian Hepburn Murphy, a couple of stats. For Crawley Town, he scored 10 league goals when they narrowly got relegated to League Two, and they almost survived.
But
he also scored.
Of those players, though, I would argue that the only out-and-out 9s in there are Nombe and Patterson. The rest are more of your wider play. Aaron Collins plays best on the left wing, cutting in. He's not. I don't think he plays as well with a 2. I mean, today you kind of probably proved my point wrong slightly, but that's I think where his stronger position is. So I actually do think we might need another striker, but I do think there's areas more that I think are more pressing than that.
Yeah, I don't think the striker's the top priority. I mean,
no.
I want to make a point about Rush and Hepburn Murphy as well because he scored one more goal than Aaron Collins did last season in League Two.
Yeah,
and yet Aaron Collins is seen as more of a guaranteed starter. And the question is, you're starting him over someone who scored more goals. Why is that? Where does that come into play? How do you evaluate that? Who do you think then should be starting? I mean, and also a player that I haven't mentioned is Danny Crowley. I mean, how hard was he for Notts County, and he's not even playing today.
I think if you to push back on the Collins Rush debate, obviously he had a broken arm in the first game, then the leg injury. I think so. We didn't really see Aaron Collins last year. I think there was a lot of stop-startness to that. And actually, to be fair to Rush as well. But so I think if Collins is much more fit, I think we'll get a more of a true reflection of him this year, and we can kind of see how he goes from there. Crowley's a funny one, I think, but I think he looks good in a 10. I think that's where he's been played quite nicely in pre-season, but still not a bad option to come off the bench. He ping a pass. He's got some vision, and I truly think if Warren didn't like him, he probably would have been gone by now. I don't know. He still might, but that's just a feeling.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because he's played in the Championship with Birmingham City. He was so hyped with Notts, but I don't think we've managed to get to see the best of him.
No, not by
And
much.
I do think to myself, I mean, look, I'm not trying to say it's that in a bad way, but if you're not going to get played, and similar thing with rushing up at Murphy, I just think, it's going to be a case of, well, is it best for everybody that they go somewhere else and get game time?
Possibly. Yeah, possible. I think they said about exits, didn't they? And we've obviously had two already, and there could be one or two more. But could that fund that where could that fund? I think it would probably look to get another wing back in. I thought, trying to put it back to the game for you today, I thought Cohen Bramwell looked good going forward. I think his delivery was pretty good. I was wondering who was going to be on corner duty now that Kelly's gone. And obviously he took a couple. I think Barlasser and Winter took a couple, and all three were pretty good. So I wasn't too concerned there. Maybe going backward the other way could be a little bit suspect. But I mean, first game, new system, new team. I don't think any of our new players kind of let themselves down. And
Yeah.
I think in Winter we've got a midfielder who's going to stay there and just command it, and he looks good. I think he looks really good, and I thought Barlasser was, and I say this in a very kind of like confidential way. I didn't notice him, but in terms of he just rolled it on, good balls across, good passing, kept possession, didn't really put too much wrong. So I think in those two we've got a good central midfield. So hopefully if we add a couple more in the right areas, then I think we can build on this performance today. Go, you know what? We went toe to toe with a team that's come down from the championship. It's got championship quality players, and excluding embargoes, excluding coach, are still going to be good.
They're going to be up there.
Yeah, like you and I said before, it's not like they were spanked 5-0 every week in the championship. So they're going to be good. So, I think there's plenty of positives. We've just got to sort out, I think, senior game out. And
definitely.
And that follows on from last season.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I think we are going onwards and upwards. I mean, a point I want to make about the new signings as well. I did criticise them when I reviewed the Norwich City game. I said, I want to see more from them. Or today, I did see more from them. I did see Charlie Good have a good game. I did see Cohen Bramwell play well. I did see Daniel Barnes have quite a good game. I did see Ryan Wintle take credit for his performance. Name just 4 people in here. Yeah. I'm impressed with them. I said I wanted to see more, and I saw it today.
That flying tackle from Charlie Good was unbelievably funny to watch. He absolutely clattered him in such a kind of old school.
Oh yeah.
That was fantastic.
I had to remind myself then.
Yeah, it was excellent. And obviously, I think he came off with cramp, and I was kind of worried, thinking, "Oh God, he might be injured here." But what was your thought on the formation? Were you a 4-3-3, or were you we got to stick at 3 at the back?
You know what? Whatever Paul Vaughan thinks is best. I mean, it just depends on the opposition. I don't really think too much about it. I think more about the players. I mean, we played 3 at the back last season, and they were fantastic. I was surprised to see them being chopped and changed. That what was more in my mind than the formation. The formation I don't really pay too much attention to. I'm not really that bothered about the formation. It's about the players and the starting 11, and can they play properly? And usually I see that. That's more my concern.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit of a weird, long-winded answer, but that's the way I always see it.
Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it, because I think the whole build-up is in my head. I was going, oh, God, are we going to play 4 at the back? Are we going to do for this? I don't really think 4 at the back's going to work. And when I was looking through the starting out, I went, oh, we've gone 3 at the back, yes. Because I think, like you said, it worked last season, and I think it then plays to the strength of having quite a strong midfield. But, I'd like the 4-3-3 to work. It just, am I convinced by it? Not just yet.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're going to get formation wrong because it was under scrutiny last week after we lost in the cup.
Yeah.
Get it wrong in the cup. Get it
100%.
sorted there and then, where it doesn't matter in the league. Because I was saying, thank God it's a cup game and not a league game. And if you're going to get it wrong, do it then. Learn it for the league, which is the right idea. To play the players in the certain formation, and just go for it. And that's exactly what we've done.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what realistically, we played a team last week where one player is probably worth our entire squad. So
Yeah,
it swings and roundabouts. You're going up against a team that's going to, hopefully fight the top end of the championship. Although today, obviously, they
yeah,
lost. But it's the reality of League One. You're
yeah.
not, you're not going to be taking on a top team in the championship today. So
I
I
know.
think, it was much more positive today. I thought overall, barring the last minute.
Yeah,
But we'll get there, and there's going to be
yeah,
times where I think we'll do it to another team. So.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, right, I would happily set up for a progression season this season, go for it next season as an EG or a couple of seasons time, and consolidate in the top two divisions and go
Mm.
further from there. I'll
Mm.
take it right now. I would. I mean, I've been thinking. I don't know what's the best season for us to have, but I'll take it. If we have a good season of progress. I mean,
Yeah.
we sometimes. I mean, I remember Alex Gilbert was saying sometimes a lot can do better than a good. They're just than a good win.
Mm.
Um, he's talking about the EFL Trophy losses to the West Ham Academy and the 21s, and it was like actually could a loss to Norwich City do us more good than a win?
Yeah. Well,
Potentially,
you
I don't
learn.
know.
Well, you do learn more than your
You learn
defeats and,
better
and your
lessons,
failures, don't you,
yeah,
than like your successes. So
yeah,
I think I mean, in the end of the day, we've gone up against players who have played 2 years of Championship football and have done themselves well in the Championship. We're away from home for the first game. The Oxford fans are going to be up for it. They've got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, so they're going to be like, pretty. Well, they should have been vociferous, but actually, I thought, and it came across actually on the TV that our fans were unbelievable. So shout out
yeah,
those away fans, because I heard
yeah,
nothing but MK
definitely.
chants the whole game, and it was hilarious to listen to. So you know, they would have been up. They should have been up for it. They would have been up for it. And I think at the end of the day, as I blabber on, draw's a draw.
Yeah,
Move on.
yeah. I mean, to be honest, there's a little stat that's coming to my mind. Obviously, probably said stats every video. When we had the League Cup game before the season started, last time a season went that way, we did concede a last minute equaliser after having fallen behind in the game, and we were ahead.
Yep.
We gone back to take the leads, and we did finish in the top three, and Paul Warne did get promoted. So it's not the end of the world. It's
I'll see
obviously,
you on the pitch in May.
yeah. And it had even more sweetness. AFC Wimbledon got relegated. Who knows? I mean, yeah, I just like I said, I say this as a little teaser, just as a bit of a laugh, as a bit of a lighter note. But it does also show it's not the end of the world at the same time. We had made a slower start that season. We lost to Sunderland after that game.
Yeah.
Then we started finding our rhythm. So even if we do that again and we find some good rhythm, let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be fine.
Anyway, is that anything else you want to say?
No, I think we played well first half. I think we kind of withdrew a little bit in the second, but were much better in the second half. Yes, a 95th minute equaliser is like a kick to the nuts, but I think we would have taken a draw. It's not the end of the world. We've got 40 plus games left to go.
45.
45 games left to go. Come on, boys, let's do it. Let's have some
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Football's back. That's it.
Football's back, and you know what? Can you imagine if you told us about 16 months ago we'd be here now?
Exactly.
We'd have taken it. And you know what? Let's have a great season. Let's have a season of progress, And as I wrap it up, always got to say thanks so much for watching. So appreciated. It really is, Please subscribe if you haven't done so already and you've liked what you've seen, because I'm going to try and get more Dons fans involved in this as well. They've been so supportive of me. And if you ever want to come on the channel, let me know. I'll have you on if you're a nice Dons fan, or if you want to do a preview of a different game, and say you're a fan of an opposition team and you're having a look at the channel, please do let me know. And as always, we want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. We want to know, what do you think of our review? Should we have won that? Is it 2 points lost? Is it a point gain? Is it both? Where do you think we need to improve? Yeah, that wraps it up from us. Thank you so much. Josh, thanks so much for joining on. It's always a pleasure to speak to you.
Always a pleasure.
Last time you joined on my channel, we won our next home game, so let's hope for something similar.
Yeah, I will absolutely take all the credit next week. My first season in my new seat. That if we win, I'll be like, yeah, it's because I was on your channel.
Okay, well, you've heard it here first. But yeah, thanks so much for jumping on. Thanks so much for watching.
Anytime.
That's it from us. We'll be back soon, but as always, up the Dons.
Up the Dons.